So the financial services regulation is complex and dynamic and ever-changing. It's a tension felt by firms and the regulators themselves. Of recent developments in respect of the FCA and PRA followed publication of a letter to the Prime Minister in January this year, where they identified some of their key issues that they'd be looking at in the future. So some of the priorities that the FCA have outlined involve trying to deregulate in certain sectors. So for example, to make large corporate insurance firms outside the scope of the conduct rules to simplify matters for them, while also keeping a focus on consumer objectives and resilience, particularly in respect of fraud, scams and money laundering. Aside from the developments in regulation, firms also have to factor in external developments, for example in respect of AI and cybercrime. These bring with them a wealth of opportunity as well as challenges that firms need to navigate. Some areas that firms should pay attention to in respect of the FCA's focus following the publication of their regulatory initiatives grid in April this year include a review of measures in respect of politically exposed persons to better align it to the money laundering regulations, and considerations of disclosure requirements relating to ESG and sustainability. Some measures that firms need to think about in terms of mitigation include having effective compliance policies which are put in place together with training, making sure that they're aware of any technological developments and seeing whether there are opportunities to use them in terms of their compliance policies, and making sure that their corporate governance and workplace culture is suitable for the modern workforce. With respect to enforcement, perhaps the biggest change is the one that hasn't happened. In 2024, the FCA launched a consultation to try and change its test for publishing information about ongoing investigations. It wanted to move from the exceptional circumstances test to a public interest test. This was met with major disapproval from the industry, and following that pushback, those amendments will no longer be coming into force. In our experience, the best way to try to mitigate against enforcement action from the regulator is to make sure that you cooperate and are transparent with the regulator. This is in line with the firm's Principle 11 notification requirements, and in our view, this is the best way to engage with the regulator and to attempt to retain some control over the scope and extent of the investigation. It is the time of opportunity and challenge for firms. Firms are required to navigate through an increasingly complex regulatory framework, and it's important that they allocate sufficient resources to enable them to do this. We at Clyde Co can assist with this process, from drafting and implementing corporate policies, to training key stakeholders, and ultimately to liaising with regulators in terms of any investigations or enforcement action that ultimately might take place.